Well, welcome to the Totally Awesome Fishing Show. I don't know how much of a show it's going to be. I've just grabbed an afternoon from work, finished my jobs. Took me a hell of a lot longer to get down here on the beach. I am beach fishing on the south coast. Nobody else in sight. The wind is blowing 20 plus knots, but from sort of west to southwest. And this peninsula land where I am is actually sticking out from the mainland a bit. That's hence the sun is out. In there, in off the South Downs, it's cloudy. So I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to do 3 different rigs here. I'll show you what they are, but I've got to put the camera down here. Oh, that's better. I've got to keep out of the wind, otherwise we'll get nothing. Fixed ball reels, same old rig I always set up with, but I've had to make a trace up. That's terrible for me. I've forgotten all my pulley rigs. Anyway, what I've got is just a straight running ledger rig. I've got my link there with a lead on it. It's an old one, adjustable, that I can actually break out with the rubber band strength there, make them stronger or weaker. I've got 80-pound mono there, because they get some decent rays down here. I probably won't catch one. And I'm using, wait for this, a panel hook there with a whole mackerel. And it's bound up tight. I'm going to chuck it out just on a straight running ledger. It might wash around, it might tangle, I don't know till I throw out. I don't know what the tide's doing. I'm going to leave it there at least for an hour and see what happens. After an hour, if I come back in, then I'll put another one. I've got one other mackerel, got some squid there for bait as well, some ragworm, and some sandwiches. Right, let's lob this one out. Listen, there could be anything down there that's going to take a mackerel like this. Could be a ray, just a dogfish tugging at it. Could be a big bass, could be a small bass. I'll settle for anything. Let's get it out. The other one I'm using, standard sort of, well, a sort of paternoster with a difference if I can untangle it. I've got my grip lead there. Here I've got my beads and swivels. A very, very long drop. Well, it's over probably 2 feet. Come up another 3 feet or so, there's another one. And I've got a little corky on there trying to maybe suspend it. I guess the bait's going to be too heavy for that. And that is a squid and ragworm, sort of untidy wrap, if that makes sense. It's not clean wrap, but it's just, if you look there, there's a tiny hook. Well, it's not tiny for freshwater fishermen, it's pretty tiny for sea fishermen. Probably a size 4 freshwater carp hook. And I've just nicked it at the top. A, help hold the bait up, which is elasticated on, and B, if small fish nibble away at it, I might just get lucky and hook one, because I'm sort of hoping in the back of my mind for black bream. Get this one out. Right, third rig is just a basic paternoster. The lead's here. It is 1 down, as you can see, and if I show it that way, maybe you can see it 2 up. Quite a long drop again. I'm going to sit there with the tangle washing around. It's not because the wind is offshore. I'm on the east side of the peninsula, so it's sort of whipping around here. And I've come away from where all the boat moorings are. So hopefully I don't lose any gear. I've never done much good around this side, I have to say. I've only ever really caught the odd bits on the other side, but I've had bits and pieces, but I'm sort of hopeful because I've got a night tide tonight, hopefully. Let's get the old small hooks out as well. So I'm hopefully covering sort of all the angles. So the tide is low at 3, it's now bang on 4, exactly 4 o'clock. I'm going to fish until it gets dusk or dark, which is about 9 o'clock here, not altogether sure on this side of the coast of which, you know, which way the high is going. It might be about an hour later, who knows, I don't care, I'm going to give it a go. It's a bit grotty up there, but I have got the old beach buddy shelter thing. Nobody else fishing, but I dare say they might come down for this evening. But it is blowing. It's just lucky it's sort of coming off my back. I'll set it for anything as usual, guys. not going to bring my gear too far down here, make base camp down here, because that's going to be coming in and there's probably another 8, 9 feet, not even that probably, 7, 8 feet to come up. I don't know what the tide's like, but what there is out there, there's a slightly coloured line, and they did tell me, I remember years ago, guys said don't cast too far here because you'll be casting into snags, and also there's some village out there that's sunk or something or other, some secret village of stones and stuff from years ago. So they said don't cast too far, so I'm just lobbing it 60, 70 yards of the wind behind me, wind assisted casting, I don't care, I'll take all the help I can get at my age. At least I'm out there trying. So I feel deck chair time. What's annoying, I do love a bit of sunshine. Now, unfortunately it's clouding up now and it's going that way, it's going to the west and I'm fishing to the east. So that's why I had to go all the way back to the car, get my hat, because I don't want to get my poor little thinning hair patch sunburnt again. It's great to be out on the beach, fish or no fish in there. And I'm hopeful about 6 o'clock tonight, in a couple of hours. Right, assume the position. One day something huge is going to come along and take my big baits. It's interesting seeing all the, I'll call this bladder rack. Somebody give me the Latin name, not that I'm interested, but all growing on there. So there must be some fish that do actually come close in here at high water. You can see it's completely covered there. And they must get storms coming in this way from the south, and that's why all these are here. There's one boat there, but there's sort of no moorings that I know of out there, or I can see, so other than a single boat, which is why basically I picked this spot on the beach. Hopefully, you know, snag free and a bit of peace and quiet. On this big one especially, I've got the reel drag set pretty light because something might pick that whole mackerel up and whiz off with it, and they have been known to get toped down here. That'd be a dream, wouldn't it? This one again, with the squid and rag combo, might pick off a smooth hound, although I probably am a tad early for that, who knows. And this one I got out for the black bream, so I've got everything out there with a chance of sort of nothing. Well, I've moved right up the top of the beach now. It is 6:25. You want to know what I caught? You want to know what bites I've had? I've caught nothing. So, my average on these particular beaches area is 100%. Bites, none. Any nibbles from crabs? Well, a bit more than nibbles. Total demolition of an entire mackerel. I didn't even get the skeleton back. But then, if crabs are there, is that because there's no fish? Or are the fish feeding on the crabs and they're not interested in my bait? It's catch-22. I've now got prawn out on one of those. And I've had to put the old beach shelter up because it's a persistent wind. It's hard to describe, but if you go fishing a lot, especially sea and you're on the ocean, and it's one of those winds that just ain't going to lay down. It is not going to go down. It might tomorrow, but even then I think it's going to sort of be breezy right through the night. So I've had to put the beach shelter up, so I don't know what sound you get there. Gentleman down here is fishing, he's fishing down there. He's 1, 2, 3, 4, he's about 6 groins, you know, breakwaters down from me. I think I've just seen him winding loads of weed, so I've had a couple of clumps, but nothing horrendous. Just enough to be covering the bait, but not too annoying at the moment. So basically I'm just sitting there waiting and seeing if anything does come as a light. I think it's down to the light level when the light level goes, so I haven't gone mad with the ragworm yet. Lovely bright day, but the wind is just so annoying. Hopefully I won't have to move from here. I'm just guessing like 3 hours up. Tide's sort of halfway up, so it's going to come just over here maybe. I've got to stay till high water in the dark. I've just got to do it. Just so I can say, there you go guys, I told you so. I can't catch anything at the best time. High tide, spring tide, or big tides. Coinciding with darkness, should be good. Right time of year, fresh bait, guaranteed. No. Well, the word and his wife seems to have turned up now. I still haven't had a bite. 7:25. It's been another one, I think 2. Another 2 guys come 4. So that's 5 of them down there. They're in the next groin as well. Now they're buckling together 2 rods, so that's another 10 rods going out. And they're not rocket casting with multipliers, they are just throwing out like I am. I don't know, 60, 80 yards, 90, with barely that. So either they know something I don't. Well, they obviously paint, the others do. You should be here half tide, just before half flood up. Perhaps top of the tide, half flood down. I'm only going to get top of the tide if I've worked the tide tables out right. But I think maybe darkness and the fact that these guys have turned up now tells me this might be the time they're expecting somebody to come. They might just come out for a couple of hours soaking bait. If they live here, they just walk out the door. I can't. So I've got to put a longer session in. It'd be interesting. I might see rod bent. The other thing I'm looking at is that rod, the spinning rod and the shotgun holder. It's just pulling over a bit, and that's not cast out very far, so I'm kind of suspicious there might be weed on that building up. It's definitely not a bite, but it's just bent over a little bit too much, I feel. Yeah, it's a bit warmer in here anyway, at least I'm out the wind. And I noticed they put their beach shelter up as well, the other guys. I'm kind of surprised. No, I haven't had a dogfish, I've got to be honest, but at the moment, that's what would salvage my trip. Well guys, I called that one right, didn't I? Just what I didn't want to see. Every hook stripped and covered in weed. Lights just starting to go. The only thing that's going onto the hooks at the moment is a weed. Everybody's getting weed. Just clumps of it, and it's in minutes. Really annoying, so I'm dropping really short now. 30 yards, trying to stay out of whatever tide flow there is, but it's very fine stuff, and it's building up on the line, just sliding down, so it must be absolutely suspended in the water, and it's running down. Really annoying. I've not seen one bite. I might have saw one rat-a-tat bite. And I watch the other guys, nothing except weed. I've still got to wait to the top of the tide though. But if I keep getting choked out with weed like this, I'm out of mackerel, they've all gone to get chewed by the crabs. So it looks like another stunning session down on the beach. This is the beach, Trendall Beaches for me. And they get some really good fish down here. I can't catch them. Well, neither can the guys up there either, so it's not just me, trust me. The thing is, you get the experts to fish all night with the best gear, the best bait, the right times, they're local, they live down the road, fine. That will happen wherever you go fishing. But Joe average generally, I find, doesn't catch very much off the beach. I know, because I talk to them. And the thing is, we can't all go in the middle of the night, can we? You know, I know you have to make the effort, but what do you do when you get in the middle of the night and it's choked with weed? You've lost a night's sleep and haven't caught anything. So you really, really need to know your waters, you need to know your beaches inside out. You need to live there, really. The right tides, what happens with the wind, what happens with the tide. But most of us, like these, me and these other guys, just go down and just throw the bait out, sit back and pray that something hangs itself. And I've got things hanging myself, it's more weed. Well, I'm dropping the bait so close in now. It's a wonder the fish don't just swim up, flop their way up to my bait box, open the lid and go through it themselves. Blimey, why am I casting out on that close? I could just open the lid of the bait box and they'd smell all those prawns and stuff. Oh, here comes the wind again. I think it must be near the top of the tide because that boat's swinging straight onto me now. So maybe I'm just going to hang on. Is it going to web and is the weed going to go? Is that what these guys are here for? All is not lost, guys. I had one tiny bite and I went back to the original hooks I had. Really, really small hooks, and that's what I'm getting stripped. And I've got tea here, guys. I was so pleased because I changed 4 black bream and that's what I got. Nice to catch off the beach. I'll be pleased with this one in the boat, but I think that is home for tea. Wow. I was just baiting up again. I thought maybe the weed's gone. Let's get it out because the tide's on the turn. Well, one fish turned it around for me. I've gutted it, but it's always worth looking at the guts just to see, you know, what they've been feeding on. Obviously my ragworm. I've had a sort of poke around here. Can't really see anything, but what it does look like there, look, shredding up pieces of my squid off my big bait. If you can see that, those bits are just here. Those are like bits of my squid that he's chewed up. So he's been feeding on the big baits, and in fact I changed down to tiny hooks, like size 10 and 12 fresh waters that I picked him up. Now, if I was here longer, I'd probably put another rod out with 3 small hooks on. Well guys, put this out. Put it that way for you. Can't even bother to get my... Oh, hang on a minute. No. I had a huge drop back bite then, but it's weed. I can tell it just keeps seesawing up and down, it's bouncing the weed. I put one last big long cast out there. So pleased to get that ring. It's going back. I'm going to cook it for my lunch tomorrow. I've already gutted it, cleaned it, it's in the cooler. More guys are turning up. Nothing's being caught that I can see except weed. So I was very lucky with that. I'm off. I'm going to a couple of hours drive, I guess, hour and 3/4. And we'll see you hopefully in the kitchen tomorrow morning. Well, indeed, I didn't catch anything else. But it's going in the frying pan, joining me in the kitchen now, but you know, I really did, because I was tired, had to drive home. I slipped up. I should have descaled the fish. But it's been chilled in the fridge. I'm just going to take it out and use a descaling knife. I'll show you outside, and I wouldn't recommend doing it inside. It can ping all over the place. I just do it out in the garden. I find if you get a bucket of water, about 1/3 full, just soften the fish up in that. It's all been gutted, all been cleaned, so it's all prepped up really. And then just use the back of this. You can use the front of the knife if you want. Just be careful with the blade. But that's what this serrated edge on the back of this orange knife is for. Of course, it doesn't have to be orange. Is to scrape those scales off from the tail towards the head, and you can actually see the colour change slightly of the fish where you're revealing the skin. Then I'm going to put some slices in it and just fry it whole. However, I'm using the wife's favourite car washing bucket. I feel the next time she washes her car, it's going to have a wonderful fish scale effect. Hey, has anybody ever thought of that? Fish scales all over the car. Well, that'd look cool, wouldn't it?
Well, I left Chattanooga, boy, had a dollar and a dime. Headed out for Nashville on the Hard Rock Line. I'm working on that old steamboat and learned to rob and steal. When my feet had touched dry land, how happy I did feel. Been saving every penny for to make up through the fall. Working for that dollar, but it never adds up at all. But coming around the river bank, heard the old train whistle sang. The very next thing...
There's a couple of other things you can add here, guys. I think she's out, so I've raided her box. She'll never know. A little bit of this won't go amiss of white wine. Now that butter should melt as well, so there's plenty in there. Well, who knows, 5 or 10 minutes each side. I want all the flavour from the eyeballs, the gills and everything else in there. One of these. Now Mike got me one of these. I know you guys all like the different beers. This one is called King Goblin. He bought me some of these for doing, I think he did some babysitting and we did some running around. Because he has a new edition. Some of you might not know, but he's having a new edition. Well, by the time you get this, it's probably about 14 or something. Driving a racing car or something. King Goblin Imperial 6.6 Ruby Beer. Yes, white wine with the fish and beer for Uncle Graeme. The smell of this is really nice, and the juice is just coming out there in the belly cavity. I have been known to get the fat quite hot because I like things cooked, so I'm going to have to clean off her cooker or she's going to go crazy. And ruby beer is good. Cheers guys. Just let me burn this fish. So peas, allow for this with the fish. They take a little bit longer than the rice, 6 minutes. Straight from frozen, cover them with water, put a lid on them in the microwave. Some might consider it a cheap but basmati rice. Coconut, just simply tear the top, give it a bit of scrunch around in there. After the peas are done, in the microwave. Peas can go in the oven. If you want to just stay in the water, they'll be hot. 2 minutes. Fish will be done. It's all a matter of timing. I'll be quite thirsty now. I love it when a plan doesn't come together. I've turned Mr. Fish, as you can see. He's doing a treat there. He's really enjoying it. He's not cold at all. And as I've always been told, do not disturb the fish, just let them on and make sure it's not stuck. I'm going to get that juice underneath there. You can hear it sizzle up. He's actually cooking a treat. Don't want to waste any of this lovely juice, so just baste it over the top. The wife popped in, she said, that wine box is a little bit light. I said, it's the packaging they use nowadays. They're trying to save money. Peas out, be careful, it will be hot. There we go, straight out. That's Marty coconut rice, split top, scrunched up. Get it there, straight in. 2 minutes. Just see if I can ease this without breaking it. And there I can put, this is why you've got this pouring area. Let me pull back on that camera and you can see you can just drizzle some of the juice over there. There it is done, guys. Black bream caught from the shore off the south coast. Should taste nice, something of a rarity. If I had to catch another one, I'd probably be dead from starvation. Must be about 4 years since I caught one that size off the beach. Enjoy. I really enjoyed a little bit of fresh fish. You cannot beat fish that's fresh. But listen, before I finish off from that little trip, I want to show you something else. Now I've shown this before. You get ragworm left over. If there's anybody else on the beach, by all means give them away. And the beach handlers are pretty good for that. They'll always walk along and give you a bit of bait, or you can pass some bait off to them. Everybody's grateful for a bit of bait. It's expensive stuff. Don't waste it. But you know me and not throwing things away. And I found just salting them and freezing them makes them a little bit tougher. I'm not saying so much for beach fishing, but boat fishing, no question I've done pretty good on it. And all I do is this. Get yourself a piece of paper. I just fold it in half, because half of the length of a piece of paper is roughly about the size of the ragworm, okay? This is all I've got left over. There's not a lot there. Put it over here, give you a better idea. Get yourself the salt. Don't let the wife see how much you're using. Give them a good old salting like this. You can see it sparks them up a bit. And I find this, when you just wrap them individually and roll them, just pack them like you had them in the paper anyway, just like this. I just do one fold, try and keep them apart, that's what I find. Just roll them like that, just the same as they do for black lug. If you've seen people in the tackle shops, they do what they call wraps of black lug. I've mentioned it before, but just the fact, more salt, look at it there, get it in there. The salt, I think, just toughens them all up, and it makes them good for shore fishing, but I'm going to say wrasse fishing, where you don't have to have distance casting. It just saves you wasting that bait. Don't know what it is, it's the salt that does it. Now you see here, these, I didn't use them. I've got probably a dozen or so worms that if I want to go on a short trip, might just give me enough of a wrap of bits and pieces, wrasse fishing, stuff like that. Just a tip, guys, saves wasting the bait. And those of course go straight into the freezer. What I do is I just fold them, put them just lightly in a little plastic container like that, so I know that's frozen worms like that. My God, I've got to go fishing. These are the ones I would normally use. You know, just old sort of takeaway things you get different bits of bait in there. In fact, look, there's some from a year ago in there, over a year ago, and I've used those on the boat. It's just a sort of tip that might save you a little bit of dough, guys, and of course catch you some fish.